to week 2, day 2 of our Build Balance Momentum program. I'm Chelsea Lundeen, and today's posture of the day will be extended puppy pose. So this posture is a great way to open up the chest and really open up the shoulders, but it's also a great little back bend. So we'll be learning extended puppy pose today and how to use blocks to leverage that pose. So let's get started on our mats today. You'll need 2 blocks, and we'll just start in thunderbolt posture, or basically kneeling posture. So tailbone on our feet, and if this is too uncomfortable, feel free to put like a towel or a blanket under your bum to kind of give yourself a little more support. So as always, we're going to start out with just centering our minds and really focusing on our breath. So I welcome you to close your eyes today, rest your palms on your legs or on your knees, and just bring your attention inward. Deep belly breaths here, spine long, chest open, shoulders back. Bring your attention towards your breathing and every little movement that's going on in the body with every inhale and exhale. Feel your body get more relaxed as you sync it with your breathing. And exhale any tension out of the body. Open your eyes now. And we're going to start out by doing a controlled movement. And we are going to sync our breath with the movement of lifting our butt and coming into a high kneeling posture. So we really want to think about engaging our thighs and our hamstrings and using those muscles to pull our body up. And I'll demonstrate if you'd like at first. So we're going to inhale. As we inhale, we're going to sweep our arms up overhead and use our legs to pull our bodies up. Gaze high, arms to the ceiling, and we're going to exhale and slow and controlled lower down at the rate of our exhale. So we really want these to be controlled, and we really want to link our movements to our breath here. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. You can exhale audibly through your mouth here if you'd like. This kind of helps me feel a little more powerful. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. And this time we're going to rise up and pause at the top. So inhale, rise up. And on our exhale, we're going to twist to the left side as we drop our right arms down in line with our shoulders. Gaze to the side. Inhale, rise up, returning to straight forward. Exhale, let's twist to the other side and drop our hands down, shoulder level. Inhale, up. Exhale, twist over to the other side. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to the other side, but this time I want you to grab your blocks really quick and put them just outside of your feet. So as let's start again in neutral. Inhale here. Exhale out to the side. Let's drop that left hand to the block and kind of sweep our right arm over, pushing our hips forward here, so we're not sinking backward. We want to think about pushing those hips forward, keeping those hips in line with our knees, and just having a nice little back bend as we bring our left hand to that block. If this is easy for you and you're not really feeling it in your lower back, you can always remove that block and try to tap your left heel with your left hand. That's a little bit deeper of a stretch here. We're going to inhale, sweep our hands back up. Inhale to center. And then that's exhale as we come to the other side, dropping our right hand down to the block or to our right heel, pushing those hips forward again, keeping them in line with our knees, and sweeping that left hand up and over. Inhale, let's rise back up, come into neutral, and let's do this again on the other side. Exhale, sweep your left hand to your left heel, pushing those hips forward, feeling that in the lower back. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, open up to the other side. Again, using the blocks or heels as needed. Good. Inhale, rise up and come back to neutral. And then let's exhale, slow and controlled, lower down. Good job, guys. You can put your blocks toward the front of your mat. At this time, we'll use these in just a bit. And we're going to come into tabletop posture. We're going to do some nice cat-cows. Since extended puppy pose is a really, a back bend, we want to make sure our spine is good and warmed up. Although we just warmed it up a bit with the last couple postures, it's always good to do more. So, knees hip width apart, wrists just under shoulders. Inhale, drop that chest and ribs towards the mat as you bring your gaze forward. Exhale, round out that spine and tuck your chin in towards your chest. Inhale, back into cow pose. Exhale to cat pose. Let's do a couple more of these here. Inhale. Chest to mat, gaze high. Exhale. Puffing through the back of the back. Inhale. Let's do one more. Inhale here. And return to tabletop. Tuck those toes in now and lift up those knees and send those tailbones back as we come into downward facing dog. Shoulder blades nice and wide. Pushing the mat away from you, sending your weight towards the back of the body, not sinking them into your wrists. Feel free to bend those knees if you need to or pedal it out. Just get comfortable in this pose here. Deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale here as we rise up and come into plank. And let's do one chaturanga here or four-limbed staff pose. So you can either drop to your knees at this time or come up into stay in high plank. Remember, think about opening, widening out those elbows and tucking them in towards your torso, swaying onto your toes and dropping down as we exhale, pausing here for a second, and let's lower our chest to the mat. Untuck those toes at this time. I'll move these so you can see. I'm going to push myself back just so you can see what I'm doing here. And we're going to actually come up into Sphinx posture. So this is like a variation almost of a mix between Cobra, Upward Dog, except we are on our forearms here. So we want to think about having our elbows under our shoulders or just a little bit forward. Palms, our fingers wide, palms on the mat. We want to think about just opening up our chest. So pulling those shoulder blades together just a bit, not all the way, but really opening up the chest here. Feeling it in the lumbar spine. As we get older, we can lose just a bit of mobility in that lumbar spine. So Sphinx pose is a great posture for just stretching the spine here. So gaze forward. Think about keeping your neck in line, like your cervical spine in line with the rest of your spine. Try not to let your shoulders sink too much. We really want to press that mat away from us here. I'm just holding this for a second. Good. And I want you to kind of tuck those toes, lift up those hips, and we're going to come into our extended puppy pose. So we want to keep our knees just under our hips, and we're going to walk our hands out as much as we can. Think about opening up through the shoulders here and dropping your chest towards the mat. If you can, rest your frontal lobe on the mat. Resting your forearms on the mat, keeping those hips in line with those knees if you can. And really sinking into this posture here. It's a great chest opener, great shoulder opener. And nice intro to back bends. I want you to kind of lift your frontal lobe back up, come up onto your forearms. We're going to grab one of our blocks. We're going to put it at the front of the mat and put both of our hands on it and see if you can keep your forearms lifted off the mat and press that forehead back towards the mat. So this allows you to get a little bit deeper into the posture. So if this is too uncomfortable for you, feel free to just skip this part and either rest in regular child's pose or regular extended puppy, or even Sphinx pose that we just learned. But we're going to really try to open up our shoulders if we can. So this is great when you're learning postures such as handstand, where you really like to have that nice length through the arms in line with the spine and really open shoulders. But we're not going to talk about that for now. That's later on in there. Way later on in the practice. Alright, drop your elbows and release that block. If you ever find that's too easy for you, if you're one of those hypermobile people, you can always use 2 blocks or even stack it high like this and really get that nice shoulder opener. But for now, that'll do for us. Let's come back into child's pose and just rest our shoulders for a moment. That was a lot. Really big shoulder opener, so let's just kind of rest here a moment. Big toes together, knees nice and wide. You can widen them even a little more if you'd like. One more inhale here. Exhale, let's rise back up into tabletop posture. So feet wide, hip width apart, spine neutral here. We're going to ground through that left hand. We're going to do some thread the needle. So Inhale as we sweep that right arm up. And exhale, let's thread it through. Bending that left elbow just a bit, bringing our shoulders toward the mat. Inhale, rise up. Extend it out. Exhale, thread it through, dropping that shoulder. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, thread it through. This time, let's drop that shoulder to the mat. You can keep our left hand bent right where it is, or you can bring it up and sweep it, kind of doing a bind and tucking it into your right thigh if you can. Otherwise, just rest it behind. If this is too uncomfortable, you can simply let it rest there as well. But the bind adds a nice spinal, even deeper spinal twist to this posture. So think about opening up that left shoulder, opening up the chest here. Couple deep breaths. Good, let's release our left hand to the mat if it was in a bind, and use that hand to push ourselves off the mat and bring our hand back into tabletop. We're going to repeat this on the other side, so ground through that right hand. As we inhale, sweep that left hand up towards the ceiling, gaze high. Exhale, let's thread it through, slightly bending our right elbow, dropping that left shoulder to the mat. Inhale, rise up. Gaze high. Exhale, let's thread it through. Inhale, rise up. Gaze high. Exhale, thread it through. This time dropping that left shoulder to the mat. Resting here. Keeping that right hand or where it is, or maybe, just maybe, bringing it up and binding it behind the back, tucking that hand into your left thigh, getting an even deeper spinal stretch here. Pulling that right shoulder out and open towards the sky if you can. Pushing that left elbow or left shoulder away from the mat. Isometrically, not physically. Deep breaths here. Good, let's untuck that right arm. Push it back onto the mat. Use it to push ourselves up, back into tabletop. And let's come up into high plank. So untuck those toes, or I should say tuck those toes. Come up into high plank. And we're actually going to do a couple side planks here. So we're going to ground through that right hand as we twist our feet over, coming into the outer edge of our right foot. Either leaving your left foot where it is and kind of flat on the mat or onto your big toe, or you can stack it if you can over your right foot. Think about keeping those hips lifted, core super engaged here, and see if you can raise your right or your left hand up towards the ceiling, either gaze following it or gaze straight ahead. Really try not to let that hip sink towards the mat. Whew, I'm shaking. Such a hard pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's release back down into plank. Catch our breath here. Alright, let's ground through that left hand. Twist onto the outer edge of our left foot, keeping that right foot where it is or stacking it over the left. Keeping those hips lifted, opening up the chest as we bring our right hand up towards the ceiling. Core engaged, glutes engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's release it back down into high plank here. Downward facing dog. Send those hip bones back. Connect with our breath once again. Is this becoming a resting pose for you yet? Downward dog is always so hard when you first learn it, and eventually it becomes a little easier the more you do it. So hopefully it's getting a little easier for you already. If not, it'll come with time. All right, let's inhale and tiptoe our feet towards the front of the mat, bending those knees if you need to, and we're going to come into a forward fold. So I like to keep my feet about hip width apart. We're going to inhale to halfway lift. I like to bring my hands to my shins, spine lengthen here, nice and flat. And exhale, forward fold, keeping a slight micro bend in the knees if you need to. We're going to inhale and come up into chair posture. So inhale, sending those hip bones back, knees bent. We're going to come up into, this is called chair posture. So imagine you're about to sit on a chair that's not really there. So we want to sit kind of with our hip, like our weight in our hips, like we're about to sit down. I have a hard time, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time like opening up my shoulders into this posture. So if this is more comfortable for you to bring your hands straight ahead, that's fine as well. Otherwise you can lift it up. Trying not to sink them too close to your ears, but dropping those shoulders down just a bit. Bending those knees if you can. Oof, really hold this posture here. Good, let's rise up to mountain pose. Whew. Nice quad burner. Inhale, upward salute. Bring your arms towards the ceiling, gaze high. Exhale, palms in prayer. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, push those hip bones back, bend those knees, and come into chair pose again. This time, palms in prayer. Let's bring our right elbow to the outside of our left knee and really get a nice spinal stretch here. Knees bent, nice and strong. Inhale, let's come up into chair. Once again. And exhale, palms in prayer to the other side. Inhale, up into chair. Exhale, forward fold. Slight micro bend in the knees still. Inhale, halfway lift, straightening out, lengthening through that spine. Exhale, forward fold. Let's widen out our feet here, so just kind of walk them out just a little wider. We're going to bend our knees and we're going to come into a low yogic squat. So push that butt towards the mat. Kind of use your elbows to widen out your hips. If this is too uncomfortable, you can also sit on a block to kind of make it a little more comfortable. But half the fun of this pose is really trying to float the body there, float the booty. But I understand everyone's at completely different levels in their practice. So if you need a block for a little extra support, you are welcome to use one. So we're gonna breathe here in low yogic squat. Really feel that through the hips, hip flexors. Spine lengthen here. Good, and we're gonna drop that bum to the mat. I'm gonna kind of twist back so you can see. We're gonna pull our knees in towards our chest. See if you can touch, tap those toes and bring them up so they're hovering off of the mat. If you're in this pose and you feel like you can lift those knees up so your shins are parallel to the floor, feel free, and then really kind of flex those toes towards your shins. Now I'm kind of using my arms to support my legs here and kind of pulling, isometrically pulling my knees in towards my chest, using it as support. But, and again, keeping your spine lengthened here, so not crouching nice and long. This is what we call half boat pose. If you want, you can extend your arms so they're parallel with the mat as well. Or you can use them for support. You can wrap them here, around, whatever's comfortable for you. 3, 2, 1, and release. And we're just gonna roll back onto the mat. Rest here a moment. And we're gonna keep our knees bent. We're gonna bring our right leg up and over, crossing it over the left thigh here. And we're gonna bring these in together, using our hands to kind of pull our left knee in, pressing our right leg to our chest. Get a nice stretch here if you want. You can keep the feet engaged, pulling those toes in towards your shins. You can even do a nice little spinal rock here. And release that left foot back down. Untuck your right leg. Now let's sweep that left leg over the right leg, and now pull that right knee in towards our chest. Again, pointing the toes, or flexing the toes so that the shins, your toes are pointing towards your shins, pulling those knees in towards your chest. Spinal rock here if you'd like. Very gentle. Release that right foot to the mat. Uncross your left leg. And let's bring both of our feet up now. And let's come into happy baby posture. So if you can, grab the outside of your feet with your hands and pull those knees in towards your armpits as you pull them kind of towards the ground. Slight bend in the elbows, nice bend in the knees. And we're just gonna rock on our spines here. If you can't quite do this posture, you can always just do a nice, easy knees to chest rock. I really like happy baby because it really opens up the hips here, and a stretch at the end of your practice. And bring your attention to your breath. Let's come into corpse pose or Shavasana. On our mats today. Everything relaxed, nothing engaged. Just release your body to your mat. Just observe your normal breath. If you find yourself breathing heavy, just take a few deep breaths and really relax into your mat with every exhale. Take note of any areas you might feel tension in the body. And with every inhale, imagine that breath going to that tense muscle, swelling up around the muscle. And then on your exhale, imagine that tense muscle and that tension just leaving the body. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow on your mat. Have a great day. Namaste.